Hello, everyone. Welcome to my podcast, Autumn is Here. I'm your host, Francine Crawford. Here's an excerpt from my podcast entitled Caregiving Back to Back.
He lived in Harlem, and they have a lot of his block actually was very hilly. So he was unable to navigate walking up and down that block where he lived. He would fall all the time. And so I was finally able to convince him to move to Brooklyn. And he moved into my girlfriend Denise's 3-family home. And she had her first floor was available where you walk straight in off the street. That's what he needed. No steps. You walk straight in off the street. So I moved him there. And he did really, really good there for quite a few years, maybe 3 or 4 years. Then all of a sudden he started falling in that house, in that apartment. And every day I would get a call from because he had Alzheimer's.
So you didn't have a breather. You didn't have a break between mom and dad.
It was like, so we buried dad, but she had nosebleeds all that week. Thank God my husband was home. Mm-hmm. He was bringing her downtown Brooklyn to the doctor. I would get to work sometime at 7:30 in the morning. I would get to work 6:30 in the morning because my day started at 7. Before I can get to work good or drink my coffee, I got a call from my husband. Your mother nosebleeding. I would call the doctor. They say, bring her in. We did that for a month.
Wow.
Until they finally, and she was in the doctor's office at least 2-3 times a week. Mm-hmm. Until they finally cauterized it and got it to stop bleeding. Okay. Mm-hmm. But I was like, what? No, it wasn't her pressure. Her pressure wasn't, because that's what I was thinking. Daddy died. Maybe her pressure was up. Right. They weren't together for over 30 years. So I didn't think it had anything to do with him dying. Mm-hmm. Because they had been separated for years. Mm-hmm. But it did. It affected her.
Wow.
It really did affect. And she even admitted that it affected her.
Wow. Isn't that something? Yeah. Isn't that something? So
and she just immediately started going down. Unbelievable.
Wow.
The things that I started to notice. Like I went upstairs one day. Wasn't too long after we took her with us down south. We had a bus because all the grandkids wanted to go. So we rented a bus and everybody went down. She wanted to stay by herself. We didn't want her to stay by herself. Now your nose is bleeding. You can't be staying by yourself. So she finally acquiesced and she went with us south. It didn't bleed the whole time we were in the south until we came back. She started again. And I went upstairs and I said, Mommy, did you eat? And she said, no. And I said, why? She said, I don't have nothing to eat. And I said, excuse me, Mommy, you was cooking last week. I don't know how to cook. Whoa. Just that quickly.
Oh, wow.
I could not, but I mean, literally, Mommy she was cooking before Daddy died, tearing them pots up, even though she was losing her vision. Them pots, she was still rolling those pots.
Wow.
All of a sudden, she couldn't cook.
Wow. You see, you don't know when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen. And it does, it can be anything. It could be, any kind of sickness or illness, so it's hard to prepare for that.
Totally unprepared. Totally. And I looked up at the heavens and said, God, you can't be doing this to me. You ain't giving me no break. You're not going to give me 5 minutes between caring for him and then caring for her. You really not going to give me a minute.
Wow.
I had no break.
Wow.
I went from taking care of one parent to taking care of another.
So how did you deal with that? Like, did you eventually get some support for yourself? Did you get any kind of therapy?
No. And which I didn't know about
spiritual support or anything like that?
I didn't know about that at all, that there were groups that you could go to, talk to people. I didn't have, I guess it caught me so off guard. I didn't even think about looking for support groups.